Our democracy, Act As If We Own the Place, is a campaign throughout Scotland by the Electoral Reform Society of Scotland, and GalGael, along with our co-hosts, the Centre for Human Ecology and the Govan Folk University, hosted an Act As If Council in Govan in the Pearce Institute on the 4th of February.
So today we're offering citizens in the Southside of Glasgow the opportunity to come together to talk about how their voice could be more strong and have more influence in our democratic nation and our democratic society.
Because one of the things, if you look across the world today, you look across Europe, you look across over to the United States, is that we're seeing huge shocks to our political system, huge shocks to the sorts of people that have been elected, to the outcomes of referendums, and a lot of the similar themes that we see come through this whole crisis is that people want that sense of having some control back. They want that sense of having some say over how their lives are run, and that they feel that politics and politicians and the way our democracy currently functions doesn't work for them. And so if you care about democracy, we think it's really important that we start to open up these issues. And for us, and as part of this campaign, we want to open up those issues at the very grassroots.
But we don't often get that chance to say what we want to say. And when we do say that, we don't really often listen very closely to what that person is actually saying. So this is part of what I'm learning here.
We talk so often of the democratic deficit that today's the opportunity to say, well, don't complain, come along and say, what would you do? What can be done? And what is badly needed in terms of what are the priorities we should be addressing?
There is obviously the notion of it, we need more basic organising rather than people tend to deal with these big issues and absolutes and stuff, when actually you just have to come out your front door and go and talk to your neighbour or talk to a few people down the street and start doing that basic kind of organising, rather than dealing with all these big ideas, which will never happen unless we do that anyway.
But importantly, we don't want it just to be a talking shop. So we intend to record what are the key issues being proposed, and we're going to take them to a gathering at the end of the summer where similar initiatives across Scotland, maybe 7 or 8 other initiatives, all come together to report on what's happened in their discussions. And then we start seeing a bigger picture across Scotland, not only about ideas or issues or ways in which citizens could be more empowered, but also ways in which we could connect up these kind of movements so that they're really impactful.
People's idea of democracy has been watered down by fairly unsatisfactory experiences of representational forms of democracy, where you vote once every 4 years. And I think that events like this are really important in re-stirring in people a sense of what real participative democracy and communities kind of finding more agency, what that really feels like, and the way it allows our humanity and in our communities to find more space and more ways of articulating itself. I think that's important that in these dark days of austerity, that communities are able to kind of reclaim, even if it's just sort of idea space.